Hi, welcome to NITTT and Online SWAYAM Module 4 Instructional Planning and Delivery Assessment 4 MCQs. Question 1. Competition among students can be promoted mainly by option A. Group discussion, option B. Educational games, option C. Case method, option D. Role play, and correct option is option B. Educational games. Question 2. Group discussion is the instructional method that addresses mainly the dash dash domain outcomes and some of the dash dash domain outcomes. Option A. Cognitive and affective. Option B. Affective and cognitive. Option C. Psychomotor and affective. Option D. Cognitive and psychomotor. And correct option is option A. Cognitive and affective. Question 3. In the case of the fishbowl technique used for group discussion, there are two groups involved. Option A. Active group and control group. Option B. Experimental group and control group. Option C. Active group and passive group. Option D. Working group and observing group. And correct option is option D. Working group and observing group. Question 4. Out of the following, which can be taken as an advantages of the case method? Statement 1. It is very easy to write a case and conduct it in the classroom. Statement 2. It exposes the participants to real life situation. Statement 3. It improves the time management skills of the teacher. Statement 4. It develops acceptance for student views on the same subject. And correct option is statement 1, 2 and 3 only. Option B, statement 2 only. Option C, statement 2 and 4 only. Option D, statement 1 and 3 only. And correct option is option C, statement 2 and 4 only. Question 5. Out of the following, which can be taken as a purposes of a case method? Statement 1. To develop higher order psychomotor skills. Statement 2. To develop analytical and decision making skills. Statement 3. Develop out of the box thinking skills to solve a problem. Statement 4. Provide an opportunity to solve a real life problem. And option A, statement 1, 2 and 3 only. Option B, statement 2 and 3 only. Option C, statement 1 and 4 only. And option D, statement 2, 3 and 4 only. And correct option is option D, statement 2, 3 and 4 only. Question 6. Role play method of learning is option A, based on the scripted drama with defined role of characters. Option B, based on the experience of the teacher. Option C, based on the situation of the world of work and related characters. Option D, based on the discussions on a particular theme. And correct option is option C, based on the situation of the world of work and related characters. Question 7. In the case of the role play method, to evaluate the roles performed by the student, the teacher needs to prepare option A, interview schedule, option B, observation schedule, option C, performance rubrics, option D, oral questions to be asked at the end of the role play. And correct option is option B, observation schedule. Question 8. Buzz session is the method that can be used to option A, have healthy competition among students in the class. Option B, develop psychomotor skills in the students. Option C, develop leadership skills in the students. Option D, have stimulus variation to sustain the attention of the students in the class. And correct option is option D, have stimulus variation to sustain the attention of students in the class. Question 9. In the brainstorming method, the ideas generated by the students are analyzed, accepted, or discarded. Option A, based on the criteria decided by the teacher. Option B, based on the criteria decided by the students. Option C, based on the criteria decided by expert observer. Option D, based on the learning outcomes to be achieved. And correct option is option B, based on the criteria decided by the students. Question 10. The virtual labs available on Sakshat Portal is a good resource for option A, developing psychomotor skills in the students. Option B, organizing group discussions on advantages of laboratory. Option C, giving demonstration by the teachers in the classroom. Option D, providing simulated practical experiences to the students. And correct option is option D, providing simulated practical experiences to the students. Question 11. Simulation is the most suited method for developing one of the following skills, and that is option A, drawing isometric view of a simple gear. Option B, assembly of hazardous components following safety precautions. Option C, explaining the working principle of a petrol engine. Option D, solving the world of work related numerical problems. And correct option is option B, assembly of hazardous components following safety precautions. Question 12. Major project work is option A, a closed specific task that the students are required to do as guided by the teacher. Option B, an open ended task that may have practical work related to one skill. Option C, an open ended experience that requires integration of several skills. Option D, a report starting the open ended problem. And correct option is option C, an open ended experience that requires integration of several skills. Question 13. The project which addresses several courses within a program is option A, mini project. Option B, micro project. Option C, capstone project. Option D, minor project. And correct option is option C, capstone project. Question 14. Industry visits or field visits provide students with an exposure to option A, the actual world of work with the convergence of different technologies. Option B, the expanded version of the laboratories in the institute. Option C, good housekeeping, safety measure followed, communication patterns. Option D, all of the other options. And correct option is option D, all of the other options. Question 15. Learning resources available on the Sakshat portal are statement 1, spoken tutorial, statement 2, free or library and open source software for education, statement 3, virtual labs, statement 4, Shodh Shuddhi. Therefore, Option A, statement 1, 2 and 3 only. Option B, statement 1 and 4 only. Option C, statement 2 and 3 only. Option D, statement 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. And correct option is option D, statement 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. Question 16. Which of the following statement is true for blended learning? Option A. In blended learning, face-to-face classroom activity is eliminated. Option B. In-class activities and off-the-class activities are reversed. Option C. It is an integration of traditional classroom learning and technology based learning. Option D. It emphasizes learning through online mode only. And correct option is option C. It is an integration of traditional classroom learning and technology based learning. Question 17. To apply a blended approach in learning, which of the following is an appropriate strategy? Option A. First, decide ways of assessing the student's learning. Then, decide the appropriate teaching strategy. And finally, set the outcomes. Option B. First, decide appropriate teaching strategy and then decide learning outcomes and ways of assessing the student's learning. Option C. First, decide learning outcomes and then decide the appropriate teaching strategy and ways of assessing the student learning. Option D. Any approach from the above is appropriate. And correct option is option C. First, decide learning outcomes and then decide the appropriate teaching strategy and ways of assessing the students' learning. Question 18. Blended learning could be a combination of option A, teacher directed and student directed learning. Option B, face to face and online learning. Option C, simulated practical work and actual performance in the laboratory. Option D, all of the other options. And correct option is option D, all the other options. Question 19. In the case of flipped learning approach, option A, the theory is covered in the class and assignments are given as a homework. Option B, classroom activities and of the class activities are interchanged. Option C, theory is covered in the class before conducting the practicals in the lab. Option D, practicals are conducted first in the lab and theory is covered later in the class. And correct option is option B, classroom activities and of the class activities are interchanged. Question 20. Which of the following is not a benefit of flipped classroom approach? Option A, responsibility for learning is transferred totally on the students. Option B, more high order thinking skills HOTS get developed. Option C, more learning happens as more of the contents are self learned. Option D, students cannot attain learning outcome without going through the learning resource given before class. And correct option is option D, students cannot attain learning outcomes without going through the learning resource given before the class. Thanks for watching.